Ever wonder what truly makes a man's heart race when he's in the presence of an older woman? It's not just her appearance. It's not the clothes she wears or the perfume she chooses. It's something far more subtle, the quiet way she carries herself, the small things she does without even thinking about them, the effortless ease she brings into every interaction. These are the things that pull a man in, deeper than he can explain, sometimes even to himself. Today, we're going deep into 20 small things older women do that men secretly love. And when we say secretly, we mean it, because most men will never say these things out loud. But they feel every single one of them. These aren't assumptions or guesses. They're rooted in real-world behavioral observations, psychological studies, and the kind of patterns that show up again and again in how men talk about the women who truly move them. Some of these things you may already be doing without even realizing it. Pay attention, because what you're about to hear might just change the way you see yourself. Here's something most people don't talk about. Men often struggle to articulate what draws them to older women. Ask a man and he'll say things like, "She just had something about her," or "I don't know, she was different." What he can't always name are the specific behaviors, the quiet habits, the micro moments that made him feel something real. It's not the grand gestures. It's not the perfectly curated social media life. It's the subtle things, the calm in her voice, the steadiness in her eyes, the way she says no without flinching. These are the details that register in a man's nervous system long before his mind even catches up. According to a study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships, men report significantly higher emotional satisfaction in relationships where they feel consistently seen, heard, and emotionally safe. And here's the key: those feelings don't come from big romantic moments. They come from small, repeated behaviors woven into everyday interaction. The kind of behaviors that older women, often without even trying, have already mastered. Yet many women don't recognize these qualities in themselves. Instead, they focus on changing their appearance, adjusting their habits, or trying to compete with a version of femininity that was never theirs to begin with. Meanwhile, men are quietly craving the real, unperformed, unhurried version of who she already is. So let's break it down. Here are the 20 small things older women do that men absolutely love, even if they never say it out loud. Number 1. They listen without interrupting. There is something almost rare in today's world about a person who truly listens. Not someone who is half listening while forming their next response. Not someone waiting for a pause so they can redirect the conversation back to themselves, but someone who actually sits with what you're saying and lets it land. Older women tend to listen with that kind of intentional presence. They've lived long enough to know that most conversations don't need a solution, they just need a witness. And when a man feels genuinely heard, not evaluated, not corrected, just heard, something in him relaxes. A 2021 study from the University of California, Los Angeles found that men rated being heard without judgment as one of the most emotionally satisfying experiences in romantic relationships. Older women often provide that naturally, without even trying. Number 2, they make eye contact that feels grounded. Not intense, not theatrical, not flirtatious in a performative way, just calm, steady, present eye contact that says, "I see you and I'm not going anywhere." Men are deeply drawn to this. It signals maturity, emotional security, and a kind of quiet confidence that doesn't need to announce itself. When a woman looks at a man that way, without anxiety, without games, without looking away the moment things feel real, he feels something settle inside him. That kind of eye contact creates safety, and safety is the foundation of everything. Number 3, they say thank you for the small stuff. When an older woman notices that a man held the door, fixed something around the house, made her coffee without being asked, or simply showed up. And she says thank you with genuine warmth, not obligation. It does something to him. It makes him feel like his presence actually matters. Like the small ways he shows up are being seen and appreciated. A survey conducted by the University of Georgia found that expressing gratitude in relationships was directly linked to higher commitment and deeper satisfaction, particularly when the gratitude came from someone who didn't need the help but chose to acknowledge it anyway. That distinction matters more than most people realize. Number 4. They laugh at themselves. Older women have usually earned the gift of self-acceptance. They've made enough mistakes, survived enough embarrassing moments, and lived through enough imperfection to stop taking themselves so seriously. And that ability to laugh at their own missteps, to find humor in their own humanity, creates an atmosphere of ease that men find genuinely magnetic. It sends a message without words. You don't have to be perfect here either. And for a man who is used to performing or proving himself, that kind of emotional permission is incredibly attractive. Number 5. They take their time speaking. There is a noticeable, almost physical difference when a woman doesn't rush her words. When she pauses before responding, when she chooses her language with care, when she doesn't fill every silence with noise, men find that incredibly compelling. It reflects emotional regulation, self-assurance, and a kind of inner stability that makes a man feel like this is someone worth being around. Fast, reactive communication often signals anxiety. Slow, deliberate communication signals strength. And men, whether they can name it or not, feel the difference immediately. Number 6. They know when to walk away from drama. Older women have usually developed a finely tuned radar for situations that aren't worth their energy. Gossip, petty arguments, unnecessary tension, social games. They've seen it all before, and they've learned it costs more than it gives. The way an older woman can simply say, "I'm not getting into that," and then genuinely move on without carrying it, that is powerful. It demonstrates boundaries, emotional intelligence, and a respect for her own peace that men find deeply attractive. It also tells him something important, that she won't pull him into chaos either. Number 7. They remember the little details he shares. If he mentioned his favorite childhood memory in passing 3 weeks ago, and she brings it up naturally in conversation today, something shifts in him. He thinks, she was actually listening. She actually cared enough to hold on to that. When an older woman remembers the small things, his favorite meal, the name of his childhood dog, a worry he mentioned once and never brought up again, it creates a feeling of emotional safety that is extraordinarily rare. A study published in Personality and Individual Differences found that feeling remembered and held in someone's mind is one of the strongest predictors of long-term attraction and emotional bonding. Number 8. They touch his arm or shoulder casually. Not in a calculated or seductive way, just naturally, warmly, without agenda. A hand on the forearm during a conversation, a brief touch on the shoulder when passing by, a gentle pat when he says something that moved her. These small, nonverbal moments of connection communicate far more than words. Studies in behavioral psychology have consistently shown that brief, non-romantic touch increases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, in both people. It creates a sense of closeness that doesn't need to be named or explained. It just exists, quietly, between them. Number 9. They don't overshare right away. Mystery is not a manipulation tactic. It's a sign of wisdom. Older women understand that not everyone has earned the full story. They've learned through experience that revealing too much too soon often leaves both people feeling exposed and ungrounded. So they share themselves slowly, thoughtfully, layer by layer. And that gradual unfolding keeps a man curious, invested, present. He finds himself wanting to know more, not because she's withholding, but because she's selective, and that selectivity tells him that what she does share is real. Number 10. They show interest in his goals without trying to fix him. There is a delicate and important line between encouragement and control, between support and pressure. Older women often walk that line with remarkable grace. They ask about what he's working toward. They celebrate his small wins. They believe in him without needing him to become someone different. That unconditional, non-invasive support, the kind that cheers without demanding, that listens without redirecting, is something many men have never experienced before. And when they do, they don't forget it. Number 11. They text back when they're ready, not out of panic. Men notice, even if they don't say it, when a woman responds to messages with intention rather than anxiety. When she doesn't treat every unanswered text like an emergency, when she replies because she wants to and not because she's afraid of what happens if she doesn't, that signals something deeply attractive. It signals a woman who has a life, a center, a sense of self that doesn't collapse in the space between messages. It tells him, I'm choosing to include you, and that choice carries weight precisely because it's a choice. Number 12. They know when to stay quiet. Not every silence needs to be filled. Not every pause in conversation is a problem to be solved. Older women often carry an ease with silence that younger people haven't yet found. They can sit beside a man in complete quiet, watching something, driving somewhere, just existing in the same space, without needing to narrate or perform or explain. And for a man, that kind of comfortable silence is one of the most intimate things he can experience with a woman. It means he doesn't have to be on. He can just be. Number 13. They take care of themselves without making it a performance. When an older woman prioritizes her sleep, eats with intention, moves her body, protects her energy, and does all of it quietly, without announcing it or seeking validation, she communicates something powerful. She communicates that she values herself. Not her appearance, not the way others perceive her, but her actual well-being. Men pick up on this instantly. It creates a kind of gravitational pull, an instinctive desire to match that energy, to rise to the level of someone who clearly takes herself seriously. Number 14. They compliment his character, not just his looks. Telling a man he looks good is appreciated. But telling him, I really admire how patient you were in that situation, or you handled that with a lot of integrity, that lands somewhere entirely different. It reaches the part of him that rarely gets seen. Most men move through life without anyone commenting on their inner qualities, their thoughtfulness, their steadiness, their quiet acts of care. When an older woman notices those things and names them, she gives him something he didn't even know he was hungry for. And he will not forget it. Number 15. They make him feel useful without making him feel used. There is a profound difference between a woman who asks for help because she genuinely wants to include him and a woman who asks because she expects it. Older women understand this distinction deeply. When she asks him to help carry something, or fix something small, or figure something out, and then receives that help with real gratitude and zero entitlement, it becomes a moment of genuine connection. A 2020 survey from Match.com found that 71% of men report feeling most emotionally connected when they're able to do something meaningful for someone they care about, as long as it's received with appreciation. That number says everything. Number 16. They own their age without apology. There is a quiet, almost disarming power in a woman who says, yes, I'm 50, or yes, I've been through a lot, with a calm smile and not a single trace of embarrassment. No excuses, no qualifications, no rushing to explain that she doesn't look it or doesn't feel it. Just honest, grounded acceptance of exactly where she is in life. Men find this authenticity deeply attractive because it creates permission. It tells him, you don't have to pretend here either. We can both just be real. Number 17. They don't chase, but they do invite. Older women have usually moved past the exhausting game of pursuit. They don't run after men, don't manufacture jealousy, don't play unavailable to seem more valuable. But they do signal interest, with warmth, with a well-placed smile, with a genuine compliment, with that quiet way of leaning in just slightly when the conversation gets good. They give a green light without turning it into a race. And that balance, that graceful, unhurried way of saying I'm interested without saying I'm desperate, keeps a man drawn in for a very long time. Number 18. They apologize when they're wrong, and then let it go. The ability to say, I was wrong about that, I'm sorry, and then actually move forward without revisiting it, without weaponizing it later, without carrying it as emotional debt, is extraordinarily rare. And men feel it immediately when a woman can do this. It removes the fear of punishment. It tells him that mistakes in this relationship won't become permanent records held against him. It creates the kind of psychological safety that makes a man want to stay, want to open up, want to be his best self because he knows he won't be destroyed when he falls short of it. Number 19. They share their passions without needing validation. Whether it's painting or hiking, cooking or reading, gardening or traveling solo, when an older woman talks about the things she loves with genuine fire, not to impress anyone, not seeking approval, just because it lights her up, something happens in the man listening to her. He sees a person who has a full inner life, a self that exists completely independent of him. And that individuality, that proof that she is somebody with or without his attention, is far more attractive than any attempt at perfection could ever be. Number 20. They say no without explaining everything. A simple, that doesn't work for me, delivered calmly and without a wall of justification, carries more power than most women realize. Older women have usually learned this through experience, that over-explaining a boundary is actually a way of asking for permission, and they stopped needing permission a long time ago. When a man hears a woman decline something clearly, directly, and without drama, he doesn't feel rejected, he feels respect. He sees a woman who knows herself. And that kind of self-possession is one of the most attractive things a human being can display. Here's the truth that ties all of this together. Most men will never tell you any of what you just heard. They won't sit down and say, I love the way you don't rush your words, or the way you remember small things, or the way you own your age like it's the most natural thing in the world. They won't say it, but they feel it. Every single time. A 2023 study from Psychology Today found that emotional connection and mutual respect outranked physical appearance by 4-1 when men were asked what made them fall deeply in love with someone over time. 4-1. That means everything we've talked about today, the listening, the patience, the quiet confidence, the groundedness, matters more than most women have been told. So if you've ever questioned whether the small things make a difference, they do. More than you know. And the older you grow, the more naturally these qualities come. Not because life gets easier, but because you stop apologizing for who you are. And that, more than anything, is what men love most. If something in this resonated with you, share it with a woman who needs to hear it. And drop in the comments, which one of these surprised you most? We have so much more coming on what makes older women truly unforgettable, in love, in life, and in everything in between. Don't miss it.